happening, fight fans? It's an all-new year, which means all new matchups to get you hyped up for the UFC. Tune into the fights this weekend, and don't forget, get in on all the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They're offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. So don't wait. Download the DraftKings app right now. Sign up using the code SONNEN. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets for DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered with live markets, like Fight to Go the Distance, which makes watching the action that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy with a shot at even bigger prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use my promo code SONNEN. Get $200 in bonus bets for any $5 wager. That's promo code SONNEN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. When I win the title, the sport thing is done, Arman Tsarukyan stated ahead of his first UFC title fight against Islam Makhachev. It's just business. Whoever the UFC pays me more, I'm going to fight, and it doesn't matter who it's going to be. Right now, it's going to be legacy to be champion. It's my goal to be champion. After I am champion, it will then be business, he continued. After this fight, when I'm going to be champion, I'm just going to think about money, not about two-time champion or defend 10 times. I'm just going to think about money fights. All right. Now, where should we begin? This always happens. And it's very rare that you get a guy to admit it. But it's a very rare spot. It's not often that you meet a cage fighter. It's not often that you meet a really good cage fighter. It's not often that you become a really good cage fighter who can main event a pay-per-view. It's not very often that you become a main event cage fighting champion who can headline pay-per-views and as champion activate the participation clause within your contract. So, I like that Arman let us in on this. I like that he let us in on what makes him tick. And so many guys are afraid to say money. Somewhere along the way, a coach, a parent, a trainer, a teacher told them that that's the wrong answer. Don't just do things for money. But money is a motivator. Why do we have to hide that? Everybody that gets up and goes to work would like to change that time or that service or that good for money. And everybody would like to do it for more money. So why give Tsarukyan a hard time if he comes out and admits it? Now, a lot of fighters, and this is condescending, this generally will sound condescending when I tell you a fighter doesn't know his own contract, but very few of them do. And how would they? It's not like they read it. It's not like they know where it is and they could go reference it. Not one fighter under contract, and that's literal, not one knows where his contract is. He knows where he could go to get it. He's got a manager he could text, or he could go to the office. But I'm just sharing with you, like when I tell you that no fighters read their contract, that's not literal, but it's close. No fighter fully understands their contract. That part's true. No fighter could tell you off the top of their head without looking some of the intricacies, such as dates of their contract. That part's true. Most fighters will never take the time to have explained to them about the participation clause, even though it's boilerplate and exists. So incredibly few fighters will ever get it. It would just be a waste of time to sit there and learn about it. So when I tell you that these fighters don't know their contracts, as condescending as that may sound, it's very true. And for the participation clause, of which will be activated Saturday for Islam and Merab. It is not for title fights. It is specifically for defending in a title fight. Having the title, bringing it to the ring, defending it. You understand. So Merab is in that same spot. Merab got put in a killer spot because this card is awesome. And this venue is awesome. And the UFC is going all in. Like, this is an important card to them. The UFC went as far as to have conversations for Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira. That's how important this card is. When things finally erupted and Michael Chandler got booked at Madison Square Garden, I'm telling you guys, inside scoop that you don't have here. It's because McGregor refused to fight on this card. McGregor wanted to fight in Vegas, and the UFC wanted him on this card. Like, this building and playing this building and succeeding in this specific venue is very important to the UFC. So Merab got put in a really great spot. Now, if Tsarukyan is to win, Tsarukyan most likely will go into an immediate rematch against Islam. Most likely. There is another scenario where Islam leaves the division and Islam goes right after Blal. But just so you understand, if Tsarukyan wins, and regardless of who his next opponent is, as long as he is bringing the belt and makes scratch weight, participation will kick in. So when he says he wants a money fight, for example, they're all going to be money fights at that point. If he says he wants the biggest money fight, well, make sure you understand. Your job, you have the short pants and the mouthpiece. You get in the cage and follow the unified rules. Your partners who are giving you a piece of this business, they're not making you buy in or invest. They're going to give you a portion of the night's profits. Let them worry about making it a big fight. Let them, that's their job. Let them worry about picking the right opponent, putting it at the right time and the right place with the right undercard. Let them handle that. And when you do talk about Tsarukyan, I really appreciate him as a competitor. I really do. The fact that he is fighting Islam, the fact that he's already fought Islam, the fact that he fought a guy on the way to the ring to fight Charles to qualify him to fight Islam, like, he's just interesting. But when we do talk about money fights, who do you think it would be? I'll tell you right now, my favorite 55-pounder is Dan Hooker, the Hangman. Michael Chandler's one that I love to watch fight. McGregor works. I don't think you could get him down to 55 again, but cocaine's a hell of a diet. So, you've got Poirier that's in the mix. My understanding is Max Holloway is going up. I mean, stop me anytime you see the money fight. We got Moicano, we got Patty the Batty. Stop me anytime. But you probably haven't. If I was to do a split screen right now, I'm going to host this, I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I get to have Tsarukyan with absolutely anybody. They're going to be side by side. I'm going to interview them and kind of get a back and forth going. I don't say this to be funny. Literally, if I was doing that right now, it would be Tsarukyan and it would be the fan that he punched on the way to the ring. Who, by the way, if that fan would ever like something, ask. Just as a member of this community, the way that dude handled that situation, he's got a favor coming from old Chael. I met the guy at the Fan Expo. He came out to the Fan Expo and he had the VIP treatment. He didn't sue him. He didn't do anything. As a matter of fact, he defended Arman and said, I started it. I gave him the bird and I yelled something at him. And I'm just sharing with you, like, I would like to hear that story. That's interesting to me. I would like to get the back and forth. And the only reason I bring that to you is when you're talking about opponents and you're talking about money fights, you got to be real careful where you look. Because if I could do a split screen and I could do an interview with Tsarukyan and absolutely anybody, you guys also would prefer that I brought in that fan. You would rather see a back and forth about what happened and why it happened. How did we get here and where did we go from there? with Tsarukyan and that fan than you would Tsarukyan and any opponent, including Dan Hooker, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier. That's just the truth. That's the interview that you would rather see. Now, I understand a fist fight and interview don't completely translate, but I'm trying to make a bigger point for you. That the hardest fight and the money fight very seldomly are the same fight, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're the champion, and 3 times a year when your phone rings, you don't get asked who to fight, you get told who you're going to fight. And we as a community, no problem. As long as those 3 times a year, when that phone rings, your answer is yes.